Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. We're live on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Delighted you could join us on this Friday to look ahead to the weekend's fixtures in the Scottish Premiership, and we'll also look at the English Premier League as well. We'll be discussing last night's Europa League match between Rangers and Brondby, and of course West Ham against Genk. And as a special little bonus for us, we'll be conducting the fourth round draw of the Scottish Junior Cup. Now, the third round fixtures take place tomorrow, so there's nothing better, Ruffy, than all the teams playing, knowing who's lying in wait in the next round.
Yeah, it's a good talking point. I think all the players like to know what's at the end of the 90 minutes, make it a wee bit more feisty in some of the games when you know who's still left in the tournament. So yeah, it's fantastic, and I think we're doing it the right way.
Yeah, and the other key issue here, Tam, is you've got friends all over the place, and you'd obviously like a good tie for Gart Cairn, but anybody that you're associated with at the moment, their manager comes under pressure for the sack.
It is. I think I can if I could get the sack. The Gart Cairn's actually the only club that I've played for that's not went bust yet, so there's still time. But no, hopefully Gart Cairn, they're a great club and they're on the up, so hopefully I can get them a home tie. They've obviously got a game tomorrow, they've got to win, but maybe a home tie in the next round.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not how it works. Can't get them a home tie, it's just whatever comes out.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just there'll be no jiggery pokery in this draw, let me tell you. Also, I think the other key issue here, which will be interesting, is I think the Junior Cup from Tier 5 and below, could be opened up to so many other teams. It could become even bigger over the next few years, depending, of course, on whether everybody in the organisation all gets together and starts to look positively towards the future, Charlie.
We've always tried to drum that we should promote our game better than what it is. There's plenty of opportunities out there, and the juniors obviously want to open it up to make it a more successful trophy and a bigger competition and brilliant. I was talking before about the Lowland League teams going into it. What an opportunity for these young Rangers and Celtic boys being able to go and play against these junior teams, because then they'll have a right shock on what football's all about and what these lads are doing, playing the junior level. So, no, it's great, and wish them all the best, because it's always good for Scottish football.
Yeah, and we've got the trophy, Tam, there at the back. It's looking absolutely magnificent. It is the fifth oldest trophy in the world.
It's a beautiful trophy. Ruffy, have you lifted that? Did you lift that as a manager?
Yes, I certainly have lifted it.
Did you know that, Charlie?
1993.
No, well, obviously I was not brought up in the juniors, but I knew my dad played for a few junior clubs in Dundee over the years, and I was around the juniors for training, and it's a lot of ex-senior players go and play in the juniors because it's good level, and it's a good, decent enough standard. When I was growing up in Dundee, the players that played there, so I've been used to the juniors and understand, what it's about.
Yeah, it's a great trophy, Ruffy, and of course when you won it, you decided just to leave it outside people's houses.
That was an accident. I think any team who wins it, the celebrations that night, not only for the players and everybody associated with the club, but the whole town or the whole village really buy into it, and a lot of drinks obviously consumed, and yes, it went a-missing for a wee while, but we found it, and obviously it's here today.
Yeah, maybe not the ideal thing to do if you do win the Junior Cup this year, but certainly good luck to all the clubs. We will go through the Junior Cup draw a little later on in the programme. Coming up live on the programme, we'll get, I think because you've obviously won it before, we'll get Charlie to draw the home teams and Tam to draw the away teams. Is that okay, Ruffy? You don't feel left out?
Yep.
Yep, okay. Big hi to Stuart Ramsey, who always listens in from the West Midlands. Thanks, Stuart. Tim Main is in Toronto, no less. As you are well aware on this programme, there's people from all over the place. Bob White, originally from Drumchapel, is now in Abu Dhabi, so great to have him there. And I think a lot of people join us with their comments on the YouTube feed. Try and keep it sensible. If you are a football fan, please keep it to the football and your favourite team instead of on this weekend of all weekends, the focus of show racism, the red card. I have the cards here, which I know all the boys will be holding up. We'll be doing our promotional photograph, but it is a huge weekend, and it kicks off 2 weeks of this campaign. But I always say, because I'm an ambassador of show racism, the red card, it should be 52 weeks of making sure that you challenge anybody who's guilty of racism, and racism itself covers many forms And again, there's no place for it. And I think show racism a red card. We'll be hearing from Jordan Allison a little later on as the campaign manager on what the football clubs in Scotland will be doing this weekend. So great to hear from Jordan on the show. So we've got lots to talk about. Let's cut to the chase. Charlie, 2-0. You were there last night. You weren't wearing the green top you had on the Wednesday, I'm told, from one of the fans. But you were there watching Rangers defeat Brondby by 2-0.
Yeah, probably I would say the best performance of the season. You know, obviously the first 15 seconds they gave an opportunity to the striker up front and he blasted over the bar, and then within 30 seconds of the restart of the second half they gave Barisic passed back, same player again, Mikel Lure, and he squandered the chance. But Rangers were dominant the whole game, showed quality. You could see why Brondby were the lowest ranked team, and 2-0, could have scored more, but Aribo was man of the match by a country mile. He was sensational.
Yeah, we thought they would win comfortably, and they managed to do that. Here's what Stephen Gerrard had to say, Tam, on the actual game itself. I thought we deserved the victory. We were really strong on both sides of the game. We put pressure on ourselves by not getting results in the first two games, but we've handled that tonight. I thought Aribo's first half performance was outstanding, as Charlie's just mentioned. What I have said to Joe is that you're a much better player when you play angry in a nice way, so flex your muscles, and there's no better player in his playing days than Stephen Gerrard to do that.
Yeah, he does. He flexed his muscles against Hearts, didn't he? Joe Aribo was lucky to stay in the park.
Yeah.
But no, I think that he was excellent last night. I think
he can't resist, can he? I mean, honestly, just any chance you get a chip off.
You know, I heard Gerrard saying that he's got to go and lay something on someone after the game. Just stupid comments. Anyway, but about the game, I thought Rangers were excellent and they deserved to win. I thought that VAR, for one of the first times I've seen it, was bang on. You know, everybody in that stadium thought it was offside. Everybody watching it in the first preview thought it was offside, but they've slowed it down. And the boy's left foot is playing him onside, so they got that one spot on. They never get the penalty spot on. Aribo should have had a Stonewall penalty, which would have been 3-0 and game over. But Rangers cruised the game. Brondby were poor. Yeah,
sometimes VAR, everybody's embracing it, looking forward to it, but sometimes, there are some decisions where you still think roughy, even in football. Yeah. Really?
Yeah, but fortunately it's not happening as much as what it was in the early days, and we all want to get the right decisions, and that one in particular Tam's talking about was the right decision. Yeah, you're going to get some wrong. Fortunately it didn't hinder Rangers in any way because they were so in control of the game, but as long as they keep getting the big ones right, I think we'll buy into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of people complimentary about how Rangers played last night. Obviously delighted with the result. Kevin McManus says, I'm from Stevenson, Peter. Never mind folk from around the world. Well, we do mention people from close by because the figures on our YouTube channel going up and up as we've moved exclusively to YouTube. And Bob a Job, I love that name. Bob a Job. I'm sure people could use their own name. I don't know why they go for these tags. He says, Peter, I live in sunny Brisbane. Does that count? Yes, it does. Brisbane,
it certainly does. Fantastic.
Would you be happy with that?
Yeah, I'm more than happy. Been to Melbourne, lovely place, and all I hear is good vibes for Australia. Yeah. Anybody that's been there.
It's a bit far away though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
The weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you're not in business class. The other thing I did notice, there's a flip side to this. The Brondby fans were in Glasgow, were brilliant. They were singing a few choice songs, I have to say, which in the town centre when they were getting kettled all the way to Ibrox. But the downside of it is, I think they'll be getting a fine. Some of them were throwing some objects and it hurt a photographer. And I know when the Rangers players were going over to take a corner, they were getting a lot of missiles thrown at them, and that's not good.
No, it's not good, but let's say they brought colour to the stadium. The Union Bears they give an atmosphere to Ibrox. I was walking in and I just seen this barrage of police, 30-40 police, with 10 of the Union Bears all congregated in one way, walked them straight into the stadium. Yeah. And I was in probably, half an hour before the fans were coming in, and the Brondby fans were already in, making a noise and an atmosphere, and it was electric the whole game. Obviously a small issue with the throwing the players, and I seen Tavernier and picking things up at times, but they made an atmosphere, and I said on live in the commentary, it was good to have away fans back in the stadium, being able to travel, come to the games, and make it a good atmosphere, and it really was. So, the Rangers fans going over there, I think there's about 1,400-1,500 of them being able to go over there. you know, it'll be a good atmosphere to go and play in when they go over to Denmark.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure of the mentality of some fans though, Tam. Some Brondby fans were wearing balaclavas. I mean, honestly, if you're a grown man, do you really want to put on a balaclava?
I know, I've seen them in was it Wetherspoons or something, or having a pint. I don't know how they're going to drink that through that balaclava, but no, as Charlie said, listen, it's great to see away fans, but hopefully we can see it back in Scotland, you know, because we all want to see away fans at the games. Yeah. As Charlie says, it brings an atmosphere to the game. There's nothing worse when you're going out and there's no away support. So, but it'll be an interesting game. Brondby will be, you know, I was over there when Hibs played them a few years ago, and you know, great stadium and great Hibs support there. So I'm sure the Rangers fans will enjoy it over there. Yeah,
absolutely. I know. I remember you going out there to Brondby before that game. That we set up a Just Giving page for you so you could afford a pint of lager.
That's nice.
It's expensive, Ruffy. The one thing I would say is have a look at the table, Ruffy. I fancy Rangers to go over there and win as well, but I don't think they're going to. I just got a gut feeling I can't see them dislodging Sparta Prague and Lyon in the first two positions.
Well, the Sparta Prague one, if Rangers win in Brondby, I've got Rangers at home. The Rangers have got them at home, so on any given night with that support behind them, I'm sure the Rangers players will know what's at stake, and I can't see them winning the group, but I can definitely see them getting a chance to get second.
Oh, we know they've got a chance. I'll always love the fact that you always give
us...
us...
I think they're capable of beating Sparta Prague.
You think they'll finish second?
Yeah, we'll say that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I've got to drag it out of him at times. He always likes to tell me probabilities.
There was nothing there to shock me that Rangers can't beat Brondby away in Europe. If Lyon turn up at home the way we know they can, they'll take care of Sparta Prague. And then it'll be, like you say, it's basically a one-off game against Sparta Prague at home. Yeah. If they win that, then they'll give themselves an opportunity to finish second. So I could see Rangers finishing second.
Yeah. Tom?
I think they'll get 9 points. I think they'll beat Brondby away from home, and I think they'll beat Sparta at home. So 9 points will be enough to get them second.
Yeah, I think they'll beat Brondby definitely. But as you say, it's nothing better than having them at home. We will see. Anyway, apart from that, a good result for Moisey and West Ham as well. Easy in the end. Easy enough with the scoreline against Genk.
It's just absolutely amazing, you know, where West Ham were before he went there. You know, in the doldrums, and ever since he's went, it's just every big result he gets them, you know, and they're on a run now, and it's amazing, and I really hope that the supporters, I'm sure they will have bought into what he's trying to do at the club, but bigger than that, I hope the owners actually buy into what he's doing at the club, because they were hemming and hawing whether to give him it, you know, at the beginning, but he's there, and he's not done anything wrong, you know, they're in a place in the Premier League they've never been before, for a long time.
It was funny, I was speaking to Kenny before the international, they played Brentford and lost late.
Yeah.
And you'd think that they were bottom of the league. Like, that's just how it hit them. You know, they were going so well, and losing a late goal to Brentford, it's like he was just devastated for 5 or 6 days, and he had to basically need everybody to pick him up. But he's picked them up, 2 great results, and, you know, 9 points in Europe. You know, and they look like they're going to be in Europe after Christmas.
Well, that's basically, David Moyes epitomises for me the same attitude as Steve Bruce, which is basically managers live it. They absolutely feel the pain of it. Human beings feel the pain, want to win, and when it doesn't go according to plan, sometimes your whole family life's affected by it because you don't want to go out, you go on a downer. And Steve Bruce highlighted that with his, I think, passionate statement that he released regarding his departure from Newcastle United. For the benefit of some of our younger viewers who watch this programme and listen on the podcast, hemming and hawing is when somebody's unsure of something. I just thought I'd keep you up to date with Ruffy's vocabulary, because every now and then he throws out a Brammer, doesn't he?
It does.
It's just like me back at school.
I've all been hemming and hawing.
Yeah, there's a lot of hemming and hawing going on, and it'll start now with Celtic against St Johnstone. McCarthy and Juranovic fit. Forrest and Julian might need probably another couple of games before they are considered. But this one is Celtic, I think. I've got a sense that because he's got more and more of the squad that he wants back, I can see them going on a run, and I don't see them slipping up here.
No, I think that St Johnstone, or if you've seen them last week, the goals they lost last week were not St Johnstone goals. I mean, they lost 2 absolutely shocking goals. And so they'll come a point to prove at Parkhead, but Celtic will be too good. I think that they're getting, as you said, they're starting to get players back. I think if they can keep the same team, you know, that they played during the week there, I think he wants a bit of consistency of selection. try and play the same 11 again, and I don't see Celtic having any problems. I think they'll win 2 or 3-0.
Yeah, and the clean sheets will be the key, and goalkeeper Joe Hart was speaking today, and he reckons that slowly but surely now the defence is starting to get used to what the manager wants from them.
Certainly getting an understanding. I think we're understanding each other's games. We're being asked to do things by the manager that I feel like there's if there was any room for not error but excuse to start with, then maybe understandably it's a different system to maybe what we used to. But now it's embedded in us. It's embedded in every single one of us. We feel confident. We've got the likes of Big Chris coming back.
Yeah, Ruffy, what did you make of it, Joe Hart? What did you make of it, Joe Hart?
I think Celtic's.
Yeah, Ruffy, what did you make of it?
I thought, and I think we all thought that the failings was the Celtic defence has never been settled for 2 years. There hasn't been the same fullbacks playing. There hasn't been the same centre halves playing. There hasn't been the same goalkeeper playing. And as soon as you get a settled back four and you get a goalkeeper and they all get to know each other, it's positive. And I think that's the way they're heading just now. Obviously, they were a bit tighter in the last couple of games. There was still a couple of wee things in the European game there that they could maybe get caught out with. So as long as they tidy that up, they're magic going forward. And we all love that kind of play. And I agree with Tam. I think they'll have too much for St Johnstone up front tomorrow.
Yeah, the manager was asked today about some of the transfer targets. One of them, another Japanese player coming in, but he said there's no advanced talks with anyone. But you bet your bottom dollar by January, by the time he's consistently had a chat with the new CEO, Michael Nicholson, I think Celtic will be, I get the feeling that they're going to be more proactive and quicker in this January window for players that he wants in.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a shambles. I think he was thrown under the bus a little bit at the start of the season. He just came in the door and Celtic needed 12 players, to get them going. It started slowly, but now you can start to see the guys that he's brought in are settling in. And I think in January he'll have targets. I've no doubt about it. He'll go back to the Japanese market after the success of Kyogo. I think that a lot of Celtic fans will be desperate for him to get back over and try and find another Kyogo or maybe a midfield player, a defender. So I always said that if Celtic could stay within touching distance of Rangers in the January window, then it'd be a very interesting second part of the season, because Celtic still had to settle in. Rangers have had a very, very settled team, settled squad. So if Celtic are still within 4 or 5 points after the January window, I think we've got a big title race. Yeah.
As far as St Johnstone are concerned, I think the real blow, Charlie, is Sean Rooney. I'm surprised nobody had a wee, snippet to St Johnstone to try and sign him. I don't know about you. I mean, you've got a wry smile on your face, but I thought he did well last season. He was their talisman in the cups.
Listen, he scored the goals at the cup, and you got, sometimes it's somebody's disappointment. Obviously, they took back Danny McNamara to Millwall, and then it was given his opportunity, and then he goes and scores 2 goals in the cup final to win that. He's been excellent for them. And say to have a blow for 4 to 6 weeks, it'll be interesting to see who he puts it in that right wing back position for them. So, because he's done so well for them, he will be a blow. And Callum will like to say, look to try and maybe bring somebody in the window as well, because they have brought in players, but they always seem to be running on a small squad, St Johnstone, and they have to just go to Celtic Park and have belief that they can actually go and do something. It's, if you go and sit off Celtic, then they can cause you problems. If you're going to attack them, they'll cause you even more problems. So you just got to find that fine balance. But like Tam said earlier, the goals they lost last week was just know what St Johnstone were all about, and he'll be looking for a reaction. Even though they're going to Celtic Park, he'll be looking to try and at least be competitive in the game. Yeah,
talking about belief, I think the manager Callum Davison shares your view on that, Charlie.
I think for me, when you play against Old Firm, it's all about performance. It's all about, can you do the right things? Sometimes I saw Tumble's goal on Saturday. It was a unbelievable strike, as in Tavernier scored against us here. Sometimes you just got to hold your hands up and say, what a goal. And you know you're going to come against that because they are top quality players. That's why they're at Celtic and Rangers. I think for me, it's just that, make sure we've got that belief that we can do things right and do the basics well.
Yep, okay, that's Callum Davison's take on it. Bryson's back, which I think is a bonus. Do you like him, Tam?
Craig Bryson, I think he's a good player. I played against him many years ago when he was at Clyde. And I was at Dundee. I played against him for a couple of seasons, so a good player and a great career. Struggled with injuries the last couple of seasons. I think when he's fit, he's an athletic boy. He can get up and down the park, but I think it's good to have him back for St Johnstone. As I said, he's a few injury problems.
I've got Celtic 3-0.
I think I went for 2-0.
Yep. Ruffy?
3-0. I went 3-0.
That's Celtic a win.
Yeah, okay. There speaks the prophet of doom. Charlie, as if he's on a downer there, having to say it. Now, here's the game. St Mirren against Rangers is on the Sunday, but first and foremost, Ruffy, Aberdeen against Hibs. I will let you listen to the Aberdeen manager first of all. The Dons boss, Stephen Glass, says there's no crisis.
I think the outside perception is there is a huge crisis here. I think the reality is we have not got the results that we should have been getting through individuals making little bits and pieces of mistakes. It's pretty simple. But I think the key thing is to keep focusing on how you work. We've had meetings weekly anyway, from start to finish. So it's not, we've actually got 2 already this week in terms of how we're going to work, how we're going to aim and try to beat Hibs.
Well, I have to say, some of the comments they made earlier in the week, Ruffy, about there being an agenda against Aberdeen and they want the manager to fail, I thought was just complete and utter rubbish.
Yeah, I think any manager who's went 10 games without a win would be under some kind of pressure, particularly for the fans and the media. They sell papers and that's what they do. You know, it's just a given. I don't know why they came out with that there was an agenda. You know, and they have to get it right. And I am going to stick my neck out this week and say they're going to beat Hibs. I think the goals that Hibs lost last week were poor, really poor. I'm looking at the Aberdeen games. I'm looking at the St Mirren game. They were on top and they got a player sent off. Celtic 2-1. They maybe get something out of that. Charlie will probably disagree with me. I thought they might have taken something at the Dundee game, but they never. I just think tomorrow is a turning point. I think it's got to come sometime, and I think it'll be tomorrow.
I think it's a momentous show, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, we're in our 10th year of Ruffy and I being together, and I think I can, as I look back, I think maybe once he's gone against Hibs for a prediction. It must have been against Partick Thistle. This only leads me to believe that someone has taken down the Alan Rough painting at Easter Road, and there's a bit of a kickback, Charlie, because this is just outrageous. He never bets against Hibs.
I know. I'm just waiting for him to start to say that Ross County are going to win a game this season. We're waiting for that one.
The game's a bogey then.
Just wait until later on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ruffy, you've got, what's the scoreline?
I've went 2-1 Aberdeen.
Okay, Ruffy's gone 2-1. Charlie?
I'll go draw.
A draw. Tam, you know about the Hibs camp and the feedback from it. They were disappointed. They were just, I mean, even you came into the studio, you just couldn't believe what they produced.
No, last Saturday against Dundee United was the worst I'd seen Hibs in about 3 years. They were absolutely shocking, and to be honest, Jack Ross has come out and said the same after the game. So he's got to get the action off the players. He's got to. He'll have Paul McGinn back tomorrow, which I think is a big boost. He's been talking up Jamie Gullen this week as possibly one who could come in. And I think his hands are tied behind his back a little bit up top because he's only getting Nisbet who's out of form, and James Scott's been poor since he's come in. So I think he might throw in a wee surprise tomorrow and he might play Gullen. I have no inside knowledge of that. It's just off the top of my head, the way Jack's been speaking, he might give Gullen an opportunity because he's got pace, and that's something that Hibs have not got up front at the minute, with Nisbet and Scott. So I've went for 2-1 to Hibs. Obviously I want Aberdeen to do well, but I just think Hibs will beat them.
Yeah, okay. I'm just getting on the spread betting here. Gullum to play from the start. I've just got that in there.
You've probably not even in the squad.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack Ross says the players understand when we fall short of the levels we are normally at. It's about the reaction. They've trained well this week, but ultimately it's judged on what they produce on Saturday. I certainly was surprised by the manner of the defeat last week, and I can't split them here, Charlie. I've got a draw.
Yeah, I think it'll be a draw as well. But I think you've got to credit Dundee United. I think they've started the season really well, and you know, we talk about Stephen coming in as a rookie manager. You know, Tam Courts has come in from basically nowhere. You know, he's managed at Kelty, but he's come in and done a great job. It just shows, you know, the differences in what's going on. But yeah, I think it was a big result for United.
Yeah, absolutely. Ruffy, what are you going for? Aberdeen to win?
Aberdeen to win 2-1, yeah.
Okay, 2-1. There you are. Did I get your prediction?
2-1 Hibs.
2-1 Hibs. Okay, no
The
surprise.
setting fire to your thing in the Hall of Fame in
Yeah,
Easter Road.
absolutely.
Which we finished in there.
To be fair, by the way, just draw something on the top of the nose. So apart from that, Hearts Dundee, can't wait. Looking forward to it, Ruffy. One of my favourite stadiums in the country, Tynecastle. And basically I'll sit down in that press box and I'll just wait for the first 40-yard diagonal and we're off and running.
Yeah, I think
Craig Gordon?
Charlie's looking forward.
Charlie? All right.
Charlie
Yeah.
will be looking forward to it as well. It's a stadium that any football player can show their worth, and certainly Charlie has been doing that in the games. So you just have to not been at the games, but you just listen to everybody that's been at the games and raving about Charlie and the players and what he brings, and wee Griff as well. You know, so they'll go there thinking they can take something out of this game. But I think Tynecastle's been going to be a really hard place to get now. I think the only consolation I would give Dundee is Craig Gordon is making too many good saves for me, you know, which means teams are getting to them, you know, and if he has, not an off day or anything like that, but he doesn't produce the worldies that he's doing, Dundee will have a chance because they've got to beat him and he's in top form.
Yeah, Robbie Nielsen's certainly looking forward to this one. Despite all the hype about it, he's trying to keep a lid on the excitement.
I think it'll be a good game. You know, I don't know about fiery. You know, we'll have whatever it is, 17,500 there. You know, so they'll be backing us to the hilt. You know, I'm sure they'll be vocal, and it's up to us to make sure we put on a performance, get the 3 points. So what will be will be. You know, Dundee missed Charlie Adam at the start of the season. He's come back into the team now. He's a big player for them. You know, they've got Griffiths as well, coming back to full fitness. So the team's changed quite a bit in the last probably week anyway since they get the victory.
17,500, it's going to be absolutely bouncing, Charlie. And the great thing about many of the pundits that we have on this programme, I don't know if you've noticed this down through the years, Ruffy, but many of the people that we bring on the programme are players who are either still playing or former players who are despised by the other 11 clubs in the Premiership. And I think Charlie will get the bird tomorrow from the Jambos.
Yeah, are you expecting that? Are you
What,
get any feedback from that particular club?
Doesn't bother me.
There's only one thing going for Charlie, Lee Griffiths.
Exactly, that's what we're talking about today.
He's
Take the heat right off him, by the
We
way.
talked about it today. Me and Cummins were delighted, saying that we're delighted Griffiths is going to be there, you know. But listen, they only boo good players there, and that's all I can say.
I love shyness to you. You just love
Well,
him.
you're not putting Tam in that equation, are you?
I can put that my fans.
Yeah, big players, big games, Charlie. It's as simple
No,
as that.
listen, talk about atmosphere, I think is as good as you get. Away, you're enclosed, it's going to be there. Obviously, when we went there last year, the game I played, I think I was injured or COVID situation last season. We lost 6-2 and it was a hard one to take, but we need to bounce back from it. We know they'll start fast and they're on a good run and you've got to respect that. But, like you say, we're not going too much away, but Craig Gordon's making a lot of saves and that's something that we've been working on this week leading into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know, we might get a wee Courtois number from Charlie. Wouldn't that be special if he just lifts his head at the halfway line? and
Big
thinks-
Craig likes to drift to the edge of the box.
Yep, I was just about to say.
No,
if
he
he-
First goal, Charlie Adam and more up.
Charlie's already looked into it. No, he doesn't. Brilliant, I love that. He does the research on all the goalkeepers as well. Get ready, goalies out there. I think on the evidence of what you produced last week, I'm really excited about what you can do there. I've gone Hearts 2-1. Just Ruffy.
So
Listen, you've no tipped us to win a game all season. I told you last week, what did I say to you?
You did
Yeah,
say,
you
you did absolutely. You did say to us, they're there for the taking and we will have them.
I think Hearts are there for the taking, so I'm going to go for 2-1 to Hearts as well.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
I think you'll get a goal, Charlie, but I think you'll
Thanks.
get beat.
But you know the funny thing about it, Tam, on a positive note, I mean, and Robbie Nielsen was very complimentary about Charlie there. It's him back in the team, I think, lifts everybody because they know what they're getting. The runners are there, they know their role. He picks the passes. Griffiths has got a goal. Confidence will be high. Cummings might even get a great lift on it as well.
He'll be bursting to play, Griffiths, after getting his first goal. That's that monkey off his back. You know, he'd be busting for every game now. He can just concentrate now and playing. He's got to the first goal. You know, he's not got everybody saying, "Oh, when you going to score? When you going to score?" You know, I've had that myself as a striker. He's got his goal. He can just go out and play tomorrow. And I fancy him to score. I do. I think Griffiths will score.
Yeah.
But I think Hearts will win 2-1.
Okay, so give us your thoughts on that. We're really looking forward to that game. Dundee United against Motherwell. I think it's a good situation for Motherwell to be in. They've got competition for places, according to Graham Alexander, the manager.
And a good manager, and they have an identity of how they want to play. So I don't see, and they're a big club, so I don't see, a massive surprise from my perspective. And we've done our analysis this week, and they're a good team. They've got their threats throughout the team. Hard to break down because their defensive record is very good. So we approach it in the same way as we approach every game, that we have to produce what we want to produce, and obviously take into account what they do.
Yeah, very complimentary about Dundee United, but I think he's got players now in the squad that can come in if anybody just drops short of what he's demanding, despite the fact they lost to Celtic last week.
Yeah, we had Tam in there, and he was disappointed that they never laid a glove on Celtic last week. I think they had a shot on target, which isn't good reading. But I just think Dundee United, things are going too well for them now, and I think there will be a wee hiccup tomorrow. So not a big hiccup, just a wee hiccup.
Yeah.
And a wee hiccup is one each.
Yeah, well, he's firing in on all cylinders today, isn't he? I mean, every surprise. I see points dropped from Ruffy this week. I think he could hit rock bottom in this prediction.
Yeah, he's usually quite safe, but he's gone for a couple of upsets.
Yeah, you've gone for a couple of dodgy ones, Ruffy.
In the gin this morning.
What about Dundee United?
I was at the game last week. I thought they were brilliant. I thought they played really well. Hibs were poor, but sometimes you've got to give opposition credit, and Dundee United didn't let Hibs play. They snuffed the front four out.
Yeah.
The two centre-backs, Edwards and Mulgrew, were superb. They've got great energy, great legs in the middle of the park, and up front, Nicky Clark was good, so and scored a great goal. So I think that it'll be a difficult game. I think I've went for a draw as well. I think Motherwell are capable of going up there and getting a point. As I said, I think that coming off the back of that, I think maybe a wee bit overconfidence maybe on Dundee United, so I think Motherwell will get a draw.
Yeah, I've gone United to win 2-0.
Desmond.
2-2, okay. Ross County against Livingston. I know we were actually going to pay Ruffy to get you up there to Dingwall for that game, because it could be a real rip snorter.
Well, I actually wouldn't mind getting up there, because this is another big one for me. I'm tipping Ross County to win this.
No way, by the way.
I'm feeling a wee bit sorry for Malky. I'm listening to all his interviews after the game, and I don't like seeing managers under pressure, so I'm hoping he gets a win for him, and obviously his players. And it's got to turn as well. They have been digging in, they have been nearly getting results. So I think against Livy, away from home, I think that this is the big one, big chance to get the win.
Yeah, you're sounding like the Aberdeen manager there, Ruffy. We're nearly getting results.
Yeah. I'm sounding like Malky, I know. I'm listening to Malky too much. I'm getting to sound like him.
Well, 6 defeats in the last 9, only 2 wins all season, and that's in the League Cup.
They are playing well.
Yeah.
We played on Wednesday night, and obviously speaking to the manager and to Dave Mackay about them, they've been playing well, creating enough chances. They just, like I said, the right things are not falling from at the moment. But if you are playing well and you see the signs, then they'll go. But listen, I'm glad that I'm playing at 3 o'clock and not having to watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's a real bonus for the Livingston fans who'll be heading up there. Charlie's definitely not want to watch that one, even on a replay. I've got Livy to win at 2-1. What about yourself?
I think I've went for Ross County to win. I think that Livingston, St Johnstone gave them 2 goals last week. I'm not taking it away for Livingston, great result, but St Johnstone gifted them goals, and Ross County gifted a few against St Mirren, right enough. But I think there'll be goals in it. I think I've went for 2-1 to County.
No, absolutely. Charlie, it's one of those those movies that everybody hypes up and you go in and you just think this is an absolute nightmare. Anyway, let's hope they get goals. Let's hope they get entertainment. Fingers crossed. And Ruffy's got a wee bit of... You've been unbelievable this weekend. I'm definitely going to remember this show for a long, long time, Ruffy.
Well, we might remember it more on Monday when we see what the points are like. That's the big...
Oh, yeah.
You've got to get them. You've got to get the points. You've got to... I'm sitting mid-table now.
Where are you tomorrow?
We are at home against Dunfermline.
Oh, big
Yeah.
one. I'm just
Big
thinking
crowd, yeah.
Roy might send the car for him just to take him up to Ross County and watch the game and
Well,
give him a
absolutely.
nice coat
It's
dinner.
it's a huge weekend. I'm just going to tell you about it shortly, about the weekend that Ruffy's got coming up. Sunday, St Mirren Rangers. Just before we talk about it, let me tell you that the draw for the Macron Junior Scottish Cup 4th round is coming up very shortly, and we will have 16 numbers in there. The 3rd round takes place tomorrow. When we make the draw, all those teams will be well aware of who they are going to face in the Macron Scottish Junior Cup 4th round. So there's the incentive. St Mirren against Rangers. Jim Goodwin's really looking, Ruffy, for his team to be aggressive again, just like they were in the League Cup, if they're going to take anything off Rangers.
Yeah, any time you do take anything off the two big sides, you know, that's what you've got to hope your players remember, that you've already beaten them, whatever the circumstances were last year. So that's what you've got to take out. I just think Rangers are too strong, and I think if St Mirren open up, then Rangers have got enough in their team to pick them off, and they're still creating chances, Rangers. So I know it's a midweek game, and everybody says, you know, very difficult to bounce back, but I think Rangers get more than enough to go there.
Is there any advantage whatsoever for St Mirren, Charlie, on the basis that Rangers have been playing a European game?
Yeah, there is. Early kick-off on the Sunday, and you know, they're hoping there's a little bit of a hangover from this European game, but Stephen was quite clever last night. He managed to take five subs off, put them on, you know, and bringing off Morelos, Hadji come off, and you know, Lundstrom, who they've all been doing well for him, so he's been able to get him a little extra 10-15 minutes rest. You know, it might not make a difference, but psychologically it could be. And you know, St Mirren are at home, smaller pitch, then you can sort of be aggressive against Rangers and have a go and see what you can, the upset you can cause them. So no, they'll be aggressive. They're in good form, St Mirren, and yeah, it'll be a good game. But I just think Rangers will just nick it in the end.
Well, they're at least going to have a lot of fans there. 2 stands with Rangers fans in it. I'm not too sure Jim Goodwin's too happy about that.
I'd much rather, you know, give Rangers no tickets at all on Sunday and know that we were going to fill it with 8,000 St Mirren fans. But unfortunately, we're not in that position at the moment. So, you know, we can't. I don't think any club out there can afford to knock back the kind of money that you're capable of bringing in when, you know, either Celtic or Rangers come to town. And I know it does upset some of our own supporters, but, you know, that's just the way it is at the end of the day. We've come through a pandemic. We need as much money as we can possibly get.
You can understand St Mirren. They want an atmosphere, they want the money, and they need the revenue as well, like every club.
Yeah, definitely. Particularly after COVID, I think every club's, you know, been on their knees financially. So, as you said, it'd been great if St Mirren had that, you know, could fill 3 stands, you know, but they can't. There's no that, you know, demand for tickets from St Mirren supporters. So, at the end of the day, you've got to take the money, and as I said, that could be the difference between maybe buying a player in January, and maybe getting a wee bit extra to McGrath or whatever. You know, that you know, with 4,000 or 5,000 Rangers fans there, so that's a lot of money for them to knock back. So I think they've got to take the money, but it does give Rangers a wee advantage.
Yeah, you always give the St Mirren fans just that little bit of hope that McGrath's staying in January, but I think they're going to be under real pressure to try and keep a hold of him. As far as Rangers are concerned, Charlie alluded to the fact that they've made substitutions, trying to just rotate the squad once they knew the game was safe. But he did go on to say it's a big day for Ryan Jack. He's back training with the team for the first time in 7 months, which is brilliant news. He'll be like a new signing. Big plus on him. 50-50 on Balogun. He picked up an injury in midweek, and he said we have to slow down on Ryan Kent slightly. We're hoping to have him available around the Aberdeen game or just slightly after it. And the big point of interest is Connor Goldson. He said, look, I want him to stay. He knows where we are. You know, he doesn't know exactly what's going to happen on it, but I think he's made it clear to the player that he's part of his plans.
Yeah, he's made it clear. He's been phenomenal since he's come into the football club. Been there, you know, this 4th season. And you know, say it's one of them. You either go in the summer. You know, Rangers obviously, I think, you know, could have let him go last summer for a bit of money, but they took the risk in saying, you know, we want you to stay until you could either run down your contract or sign a new contract. And at the moment, it looks like he's going to run down his contract. And I don't think that, you know, Rangers supporters and that could be, you know, disappointed with that really, because he's been phenomenal for them. But what happens when you win titles and you come in probably a little bit, you know, lesser than what everybody else is earning, and you've seen other players getting new deals? He'll be looking to be one of the highest paid, and that'll be the worry. for Rangers, because they might not want to put that investment to somebody that's a little bit older than you know, say a Ryan Kent or whatever. So they've got to come to an agreement. It's either he leaves the football club in the summer, he won't leave in January because Rangers will just be happy to lose him for free in the summer, or he signs a new deal. It's just a matter of time what the situation is. But you know, he has to get back playing well and you know, keeping clean sheets. And you know, he at times last night, I thought it looked like it was affecting him how he was with his contract situation, because you know, him and Tavernier at times were getting muddled up and getting opportunities. So we'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks. But you know, he'll be there Sunday, ready to go again and fighting for the cause.
Yeah. Okay. Tommy Adams says 4-0 to the Jers. It'll be a cinch. There you are. Hey, two lager and a bitter, please. What do you got?
Oh, I was really thinking about going for a draw, because I think Rangers will struggle. I think St Mirren are in good form, and I just think. But I've went for Rangers 2-1. I think they'll just edge it, but a draw wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I've got Rangers to win it 2-1.
Yeah, I've got Rangers to win 2-0. I think you've got to look at who St Mirren have been doing well against, and Rangers are a different kettle of fish.
Yeah. What about you, Charlie?
I think Rangers will just edge it. I think Balogun being out, you know, I know Stevie's saying he's at 50-50, but he come off with a hamstring injury, so I'd be very, you know, surprised if they risk him, because they don't have really any other centre backs. Bassey will probably play there, and I'll just say Rangers will edge it.
Okay, this is Peter and Ruffy's football show. It is on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel, Monday to Friday. You can join us live at 4 o'clock. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell, and you'll get all the notifications of what's happening on the channel, especially with the football show. We've got some great one-to-ones at the moment with Xander Clark, and there's a special That Game with Ruffy, because we'll be talking to Ruffy very shortly about a special game that happened 50 years ago. And tomorrow is the 23rd of October, and we'll be discussing that with the big man just shortly, and letting you know about a programme that is out now on our YouTube channel. But straight to the point of the excitement of the Scottish Junior Cup, the Macron Scottish Junior Cup. It's the 4th round draw, and because Ruffy's obviously lifted that great trophy in the past with Glenafton, I think you got into 2 other finals as well, Ruffy, didn't you?
3 in a row.
3 in a row?
3 in a row, yeah.
That is magnificent.
Fantastic bunch
Must have
of
been
players.
from money at Glenafton. You must have been
Yeah.
big
Not
players.
me, no.
Was there any investigation into you know, the owner at the time, or no? It was just they
No,
were throwing
we
money.
were just a very, very good side that the managers seemed to manage to get together.
Yeah, absolutely. But you happy with a millionaire owner that was backing you?
Was a brown envelopes getting flung about?
No,
No,
not
no.
the players. The players just played for the village.
Brilliant, excellent. Okay then. Well, the good news is it's 1 to. It's like Ruffy banana. Anyway, it's 1 to 16. Charlie, you're going to do the home. We've got the
Rod Stewart moment. No.
Yeah, thankfully you're your compass mentis. But you're going to do the home. Tam, I think it's great if you do the away for the draw. And I might as well tell you now, the 3rd round draw takes place, the 3rd round matches take place tomorrow, so now the clubs know exactly who they're going to be playing in the 4th round draw. The numbers, it's Glasgow Perthshire against Arthurlie, Yoker Athletic against East Kilbride is tie number 2, Glasgow Perthshire Arthurlie is number 1, Muirkirk against Ardrossan Winton Rovers is number 3, Dice versus West Calder tomorrow is number 4, Craigmark Bartonians against Auchinleck Talbot is number 5, Vale of Leven against Ashfield is 6, Shotts Bonaccord Thorneywood United is 7, Carnoustie Panmure Kirkintilloch Rob Roy is 8, Gart Cairn against Beath is 9, Dundee East Craigie versus Johnston Borough is 10, and Newmarket United against Dundee North End is 11, Petershill versus Benburg is 12, 13 is Lochie United versus Banks of D. I know Gabriel Antoniazzi is certainly hoping the Banks of D can come up with a performance. 14 is Irvine Meadow Cumbernauld United, 15 is Cumnock against Lars Thistle. And number 16 is Ross Vale. Now, Ross Vale will automatically go into this 4th round draw because Pollock Irvine, that game has resulted in Pollock and Irvine being kicked out of the tournament because there was a mass brawl, Ruffy. which
Welcome to the juniors.
No. You see, I'm always reluctant to say the junior game is a hard game because I see a lot of teams that play a lot of good quality football. But when Alec McDowell said that to me, the chief operating officer, I thought, welcome to the juniors. Magnificent. So, listen, at the end of the day, you know, sometimes you can get feisty games. Pollock and Irvine have paid the penalty. They are out of the draw, and Rossvale will be number 16 on their own. So basically, from there, Charlie will draw the home teams for the Scottish Junior Cup, Macron Scottish Junior Cup, 4th round, 27th of November. These matches will kick off at 1:45. So Charlie, if you can, and I will just make sure now because you've got to write these down. Charlie, if you can draw, what are you doing?
I'll hold the bag.
Well, how are you going to get over here to Tam? Okay then. Right, Ruffy. And the first one out
12.
is number 12, and number 12 is Peters Hill versus Benburg is number 12, and Tam is going to delve in there. So Peters Hill against Benburg, first one out, so they'll know exactly what's happening. They are going to number 13. Just keep it to yourself and don't bother saying the number for us, Tam. So 12 plays 13, and the winner of Peters Hill Benburg will play against Lochie United or Banks Adi. Charlie.
George Shields will not be happy.
Yep.
He's the manager.
So this is number 9. Let's just make sure we get that right. Number 9 is Gartcairn versus Beath, and the winner of that.
That means Gartcairn's at home if they get through that tie.
Well, that's number 9, aye.
That's good.
Yeah.
Then. Well,
If they win, though.
if they win.
well done.
Yeah.
So beat Beath tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, and a big apology to the Beath
Sorry,
fans
Beath.
who are raging,
Sorry.
kicking the telly right now.
Number 1.
Number 1. He's now doing it as if he's mega official. Number 1. So they will play either Glasgow Perthshire or Arthurlie, and that is you've picked out an absolute howitzer there, Tam. The next one is number 15. So 15 is Cumnock or Largs Thistle, and they will play in the Macron Scottish Junior Cup. The winner of that will play in the 4th round against
Number 11.
number 11, which is Newmarket United or Dundee North End. Charlie.
Oh, Cumnock Auchinleck, we missed that one there.
Yep, well, we're getting to the nitty-gritty now of number 3. Number 3, which is Muirkirk or Ardrossan Winton Rovers, and they will play
Number 4.
against number 4, which is Dice or West Calder. So we're at the halfway point now, just 4 ties left in the Macron Scottish Junior Cup 4th round draw, and number 5. So number 5 is Craigmac Burtonians or Auchinleck Talbot. And here it is, they're all hanging on your every word here, Tam.
Oh, the big tie, this one.
And it's
Number
my
14.
number 14, Cumnock or Largs Thistle. What a shout
No,
that
it's
is.
not.
Oh, it's Irvine Meadow.
14, sorry, Irvine Meadow. Sorry, Charlie, thank God you said that. Irvine Meadow or Cumbernauld United
Is that a derby?
is number 14. It's an absolute cracker.
And
If
Auchinleck
they
against
win.
Irvine?
No,
Yeah.
if they win the game.
If they
I
win,
know that, it's
if
gonna
they
be- it's a
win.
good derby,
Try
isn't
not
it?
to upset the team that are still trying to get into the next round. So that's number 5, which is Craigmac Burtonians against Auchinleck Talbot, and number 14 is Irvine Meadow against Cumbernauld United. Number 7, Shotts Bonaccord or Thornywood United, and they will play against,
Number 16.
which is Rossvale. As we know, Rossvale straight into the 4th round.
Be Craig Young's team still in there, Rob Roy. He's looking
Yeah.
for a home tie.
Number 2 is Yoker versus East Kilbride Thistle, and they will play against
Number 6.
number 6, which is Vale of Leithen against Ashfield. So the last one, there should be 2 numbers left in that bag. I'm looking at the Chief Operating Officer and his
There
bottles.
is 2, and I'm looking forward. I'm looking to try and get Carnoustie Panmure a home tie, and they're all.
Number 10, Dundee East Craigie versus Johnston Borough. And the last number in there, Tam, as he pulls it out, is number
8.
Carnoustie Panmure or Kirkintilloch Rob Roy. And that concludes the Macron Scottish Junior Cup 4th round draw. These ties will be played on the 27th of November at kick-off 1:45. And as we brought you the news earlier, the Scottish Junior Cup could become an even bigger tournament from Tier 5 down. There could be lots more clubs involved in it. Junior football is thriving, and if there's more clubs that want to take that next step and get under this bigger umbrella, then who knows, Ruffy, that it could become bigger and better. We need more clubs, more people playing the beautiful game.
Yeah, and particularly junior football, it's absolutely massive. I know we always concentrate on the senior game, but there's lots and lots of people follow their local club, and it means a lot to them to be successful. And there's a lot of big owners and lots of people pushing to win this wonderful trophy, and a lot of new clubs in there, a lot of clubs who have won it before, and it's a big mixture, north and south, so it's been an exciting draw.
And I know from your own point of view it's quite difficult at times for people to actually think about it, but you played in the World Cups, you've played some fantastic games. We're about to talk about one of the greatest games in your life shortly, but winning this as a manager, I know you because you're a big softie. Did you cry when you won it?
I think I did, yeah. I cried when I gave my son the medal. But we all do that, don't we? At some stage of your career when you've done something successful. And I keep saying this, it's for the players and everybody associated with the club, but it's for the supporters. Because it's a lifelong ambition for all these junior clubs to win that trophy. And when you eventually do get your name on it, it's edged in history like everything else. And like we keep talking about St Johnstone being legends, any football players at any of these clubs who win it will be legends in that town.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you are. That's what happens. I knew Ruffy would have shed a tear. He's a big softie.
Yeah, he's a big softie. Yeah. But he talks fondly, his Glenafton days.
Yeah.
He always speaks about it. So I finished my career in the juniors with Gartcairn, as you know, and great club. As Ruffy said, there's a lot of established clubs in there, your Talbots and your Cumnocks, but there's some ambitious clubs like Gartcairn and teams like that who want to try and get up towards the high end and try and get into the quarterfinals and semi-finals of the Scottish Cup, because for junior football that is the be-all and end-all, that cup behind you.
Yeah, absolutely, and let's hope all the associations decide to maybe embrace a future plan which makes it bigger and better as well. Fingers crossed. Good luck to all the junior teams tomorrow, and good luck in the 4th round draw as well. Bad news for Gartcairn though is one of the other clubs that you played for has folded recently as well.
Limerick, that was my last senior club. They went bust a couple of years ago, so sorry Alec, you need
to get around.
Keep time away from the dogs.
Get them away from Gartcairn, because that's the kiss of death. Brilliant. That's the Macron Scottish Cup Junior draw. It's 4th round that we were drawing there. Now, just before we go on to what is a very important weekend for show races and the red card, Ruffy, I've got to say, out this morning, and so many people have been complimentary about it. We get lots of people who download the PLZ soccer app. By downloading it, if you hit the menu button there, you get submissions, and you can actually drop in messages to the boys. They'll get them right away, and you get all the breaking stories in Scottish football, English, European and world football, and you can watch the football show at your leisure, or you can watch it live. It's all here on the app, all the programmes. So lots of people are commenting on the programme that went out this morning, Ruffy, which is basically you and Alec Ray looking back 50 years ago tomorrow. And all the players, I reckon, well, most of them will be there tomorrow for Partick Thistle against Dunfermline.
Yeah, they'll all be there bar one, but it'll be a great weekend. It kicks off tonight. There's an hour film show of everything that happened on the day and after it, and everything with the supporters and everything. There's going to be 150 supporters in the stadium tonight, and then obviously
which lounge?
I'll be the Alan Ruff lounge.
Yeah.
Yes. And
too modest to say, really.
Yeah, shyness one, shyness two.
Some kickback this boy, yeah.
And no, they'll all be there tomorrow. I just hope we get a win against Dunfermline. It would make the weekend, it being the same day and the same, date and everything. And if we could get a win and Fee McCall and the players could get it, they'll be wearing the strips that we wore in '71, which is quite incredible. And
the actual strips?
No, the actual ones.
A new retro strip?
No, a new retro strip.
Yeah, it's like you did last Friday. We were impressed, weren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We thought you were excellent last Friday.
Yeah, well, I hope we kick on tomorrow, because obviously Sunday's a big day at Hampden, where we're having a massive lunch and 400 supporters there again. So it'll a great day.
And you've got a...
No.
No, you're not. Well, this is going to be a great weekend then. The other thing as well, Ruffy, which you'd have promised the viewers of the programme and our listeners on podcast, which are going through the roof for us, thank you to the countless amount of people who are listening to the podcast too. You're going to try and get 2 fully signed strips for us, aren't you?
Yes, and anything else I can get my hands on. There's lots of memorabilia out there.
Will you be able to get me a medal? Will you be able to get me a medal?
I'll get you a medal, yep.
Yeah, fantastic.
The only problem is obviously Hugh McDonald is catched into this, like he is. He just loves everything.
Yeah.
There's 2 of them.
Absolutely. Harry Fitzpatrick is in Hamilton, Ontario, says, watching your show with the legend Alex Ray of Partick Thistle. He mentioned Ronnie Glavin, who's a good friend of mine. His family is from Garthamlock in Glasgow. His younger brother Tony has done well in St Louis in the USA. I met him in Buffalo a few years ago. He was playing indoor soccer and my dad was good friends and neighbours with him in Garthamlock. Great show. He thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a great laugh with the two of you. And of course, listen, as Alec Ray himself, just to give you a little taster of it, mentioned, winning that League Cup by defeating Celtic by 4-1 changed his life.
It changed socially. It changed my life. To this day, I still go to places. My hair's maybe a wee bit different colour, but the amount of people that recognise you 50 years later, and socially, I'm a social beast, so it's, over the years, there's no too many places I've been that I've...
Well, there is not being recognised, which is fantastic. And BW says, I remember as a 10-year-old, I'd finished playing for my club in Carluke, and my dad picked me up in the car, and we were listening to it in the radio. And I remember saying to Dad, what happened? Did someone die? And he said they might as well have. Later I found out Partick Thistle won 4-1, so his dad wasn't happy about it. But so many people couldn't believe what was happening on the day. We mentioned before, we talk about it on the show, about the BBC announcer thinking this has got to be a mistake. 4-1 to Partick Thistle.
4-0 at half time, wasn't it?
Yeah, 4-0, absolutely, which is fantastic. And Ruffy, you thought Celtic would come back and win it 5-4?
Celtic were beating everybody 5, 6 and 7, so it was always possible. But as you probably know, that we had a fantastic week of celebrations.
I thought you were going to say fantastic goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that was the second half. But we played Aberdeen the next Saturday. What do you think the score was?
Hammered 4-0.
7-2.
Enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. They enjoyed themselves right up until the Friday. Excellent. Okay, great. I hope you have a great weekend, Ruffy. It's brilliant. You can see it's under the section That Game. Partick Thistle 4, Celtic 1. You can enjoy it on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I hope you do enjoy that. We've also got a one-to-one with Xander Clark talking about the double season for St Johnstone. So there's lots of great content coming up and we're going to keep you up to date with that. We'll be giving away the Retro Thistle strip next week. We're going to be giving away an Xbox, an iPad, lots of presents that I think you're going to enjoy as you join the football family here on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. This weekend is an important weekend. For me, it's like any other weekend for people who have a bit of responsibility about them because, quite simply, it is Show Racism the Red Card. The campaign starts in earnest in Scottish football. So many people, you'll see your team holding up the card and putting out the positive message that everyone should challenge anyone found guilty of racism. It is not acceptable in any forum, and football has a particular interest in this when you consider that so many footballers across the UK are suffering from abuse, whether it be sectarian abuse, which we have a particular problem here in Scotland with, but of course you only have to look at some of the black players down south, the 3 England players who missed a penalty in a football match and have been racially abused. We've got to make a stand. We've got to try and put our foot down here and put out a positive message. And I know this campaign, because I'm an ambassador for Show Racism the Red Card, I know they work hard. They are not as well funded as they should be. And earlier today I caught up with the campaign manager Jordan Allison to talk about what's going to be happening over the weekend. Well, I'm delighted to say I'm joined from Show Racism the Red Card by Jordan Allison. Jordan, thank you very much for taking time out of the busy schedule. it's a campaign which everybody tries to embrace in football in Scotland. Lots of people show their support for it. What do you think the main driving ambition is for this campaign from your perspective?
So from the campaign's perspective, we are, first and foremost, our objective is to help educate the future generation of society. And, you know, if you talk about football, the future generation of supporters and perhaps even players as well, on the impact that racism can have on individuals in society, how to recognise racism in all its forms, how to safely challenge racism as well, which is a big one, and how to support the victims of racism. And this is something that, as you say, we do get a lot of great support from football, especially this weekend is coming up to probably our most visible, publicly visible weekend for our charity of the year. And it's thanks to football clubs that we're able to do that, and football players as well. There's some real, we've got some real ambassadors out there in the current Scottish professional game, men's and women's. So it's great to see the support, and we hope that as a charity it kind of helps raise awareness for the work that goes all year round, rather than just the visible weekend. So yeah, lots of education work.
Having spoken to a number of people who work for Show Racism, the Red Card Scotland, and across the UK with your bosses, Scotland seems to be, Show Racism, the Red Card in particular, not as well funded as it should be. How much are you banging the drum on the Scottish Government's door to say, you know, if we're really serious about it, then surely this is an organisation that deserves greater investment and, you know, a greater chance, a bigger chance to actually go and spread this word far and wide?
Well, this is the thing that not a lot of people are aware of. I think probably down to the support that we get from football, especially in these really visible match day weekends. We do seem like we're a huge, big organisation, but Peter, you'll know even more so than me, you've been an ambassador for a number of years of the charity. We are nowhere near as well funded as what we should be. We don't get funding from the Scottish Government, we don't get funding from the Scottish FA or the SPFL. We rely on donations, we rely on organisations, trade unions as well, to support us financially, so that we are able, our education teams are able to deliver education work across Scotland and the rest of the UK. And this, you know, speaking to you today on Wear Red Day, we are asking everyone across society to wear something red, to raise awareness for Show Racism Red Card, and donate £1 if you can. And that's our only fundraising day of the year, and it helps so much to just ensure that the charity, its staff and its ambassadors can be out there on the ground working with young people in schools and youth football clubs, so that we're able to challenge this proactively rather than, sadly, a lot of the time it's reactively after racist incidents happen.
Yeah, Jordan, you're doing a great job. I hope some MPs and MSPs have a look and listen to the words that you've just spoken there, not only with the emphasis on spreading the good word of Show Racism, the Red Card, and the positive message and the changing of attitudes, but hopefully someone will realise that you deserve greater funding and backing to try and make it a bigger organisation and take it more seriously. Listen, great to speak to you. Thanks for giving us your time on a very busy weekend for you. Let's hope, fingers crossed, it all goes according to plan. Yeah, absolutely. Great to work there from Jordan Allison and all the Show Racism, the Red Card staff in Scotland as well. And of course, as Charlie is holding up, and Tam McManus and Alan Ruff, if you are out there, challenge anyone who's found guilty of it, anyone who's guilty of it in a football stadium. Again, don't tolerate it. It's a positive message that will be going right across all the schools, as it does on a regular basis. There's a 2-week campaign which is very visual. Let's hope the other 50 weeks of the year people are proactive rather than reactive about Show Racism, the Red Card. Over and above that, Neil Gray always posts a little message to us on our feed, and he says, can you wish Scotland women good luck when they take on Hungary? 7:35 tonight. It's live on BBC Alba, so well worth giving it a look. Neil says not everyone cares about women's football, but I have to say we do, Ruffy.
Yeah,
we have been in the 10 years at the forefront of it all, long before some people thought it was fashionable. We've had pundits aplenty on this programme. Women's football has been at the forefront of our minds from the early years.
Yeah, I think anybody associated to women's football will be really impressed with where they've been and where they are now. It's absolutely amazing how much they've come on, more professional in everything they do, and now they're getting the coverage that they deserve, and good for them. There's a lot of young kids, you know, starting to play football through the progress that they're making nationally and at clubs, so well done to them.
Yeah, thanks to Alec McDowell for coming in with the great old trophy, the Scottish Junior Cup. We completed the Macron Scottish Junior Cup 4th round draw. So good luck to all the teams tomorrow who now know who they'll be playing in the 4th round when they play those 3rd round ties tomorrow as well. Thanks to Jordan Allison. Big thanks to Tam and to Ruffy. Enjoy your day tomorrow, Ruffy. It'll be nostalgic, sentimental. I'm sure there'll be a tear in your eye again, but 50 years on is sensational to celebrate it.
Ruffy's nose will be the same colour as that tapping Monday morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll hammer it this weekend, won't you, Ruffy?
Yeah.
I'll take a few here and there, you know, just to be social.
Absolutely. He will be bladdered. I am going to have a great weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going through to Tynecastle. I'm going to enjoy Hearts against Dundee and see your man strutting his stuff, and who knows, he might chip in with a special goal for us to savour.
Yeah,
Fingers
hope
crossed.
it's when it's 2-0.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Give him the points. Thanks to all the lads, but most of all, don't forget to subscribe to PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Have a great weekend.